you very much. So I was working with a group of high school students and talking with them about sustainability and sustainable behaviors. And I was getting to a really important point, and I was really excited, and this hand shot up. And normally I try to wait to take questions or comments in natural pauses, but this student, this high schooler, she was completely very intense. She really needed her question answered right then. So I called on her, and she said to me, "What is that?" pointing at the mural behind me. And I wasn't exactly sure which that she was talking about, so I asked her to come up and show me which that it was. And she came up and she pointed up in this corner here, and she said, "What is that?" And I was a little confused, so I said, "Well, what do you think it might be?" And she tapped on that image up there, and she said, "I have no idea, that's why I'm asking you." And so I said, well, those are whales. Those are California gray whales. And she looked at me and she repeated the word back, "Whales." Oh, whales. And I realized in that moment that this was a high school student who did not have the word whale in her vocabulary. She could not connect that word with that image. And this is one of the ways that we are failing our students. Now, this is a really extreme story, obviously, but this is one of the challenges that we face in our culture in creating sustainable cities, in creating the Sustainable City 2.0 that we want for the future. And I would argue that this is a big piece of why environmental education and science education is so important, and we need to invest in those. So how did I get to be this person standing before you on this stage? In college, I majored in science. I went into science because I really didn't like people in politics. I was very shy. I went into marine biology. Well, I went into marine biology because I really wanted to be a mermaid. And there's no mermaid major, so marine biology was as close as I could get. And when I got to graduate school, I all of a sudden realized, oh no, there's no shortage of people in politics and academia. And I realized I wasn't really I was spending a lot of time locked in a lab, and that was just not appealing to me at all. So what could I do in the world? What could I do that still had me exploring? And I've always loved working with students. I've loved working with kids since I was very young. And the part that I love, and probably the part that every educator will tell you they love, is that moment where you say something that clicks in a child's head, and you get that light bulb, aha look on their face. That moment where everything just makes sense because of something you've done or said. So I went into science education to be able to have those moments regularly. And I became a classroom teacher, and then I moved into informal aquarium education. And then finally up to this position here today, education director of Heal the Bay. And along this process, I learned some things. I learned that we technically have a scientifically illiterate public. A public that does not understand really basic aspects of science and how they impact our lives on a day-to-day basis, how they impact our bodies and how we function here in the world. A public that doesn't understand that ocean. 75% of our world, they don't understand that and how it impacts us daily and how we impact it daily. And we can talk about issues and implications for race and socioeconomics in this sort of debate. We can talk about how it impacts our job force and our economy. But I would argue that this piece of things, is even more basic than that. It means that we have people that don't understand how important water is to us. Your body can only live for 3 days without water. They don't understand how food is important to us and how air is important to us. We can only live 3 hours without oxygen to our brain, 3 days without water, and 3 weeks without food. So I work for Heal the Bay, where they pay me to actually get to educate children. So I'm really excited about that. I get to give them those aha moments regularly. I get to work with my educators to help them give students those aha moments. And I get to work with teachers in the classroom and help them get those aha moments, provide them with engaging, hands-on educational opportunities all over the place. So with Heal the Bay, our issues, the way we do this is all through waters and watershed. We take kids to our local rivers and creeks and streams so that they understand that the environment is not out there. We are a part of the environment. Everything we do is impacting the environment for the better or the worse, or maybe just kind of we're staying status quo, but we are engaged in a part of this. We take them to the beach, where the elementary students, so many of them that we see, they're walking on the beach for the first time in our programs. I came from the Oklahoma Aquarium, and I thought, oh great, I'm moving to Los Angeles, the ocean's right there, I'll get to go into so much depth on ocean science, get to talk about these really complicated details. And sometimes my conversation is just, no, I know the sand moves, but it's safe. You can still walk on it. So we are also taking students and helping them to look at the ocean like a scientist might. We're giving them that free choice piece that Joe talked about. When a student is there in that environment and they're asking you, what is that animal? What does it do? They can't help but be engaged in that educational process. When we're taking them and they're doing the chemical analysis of the water, this is actually the LA River, right near Griffith Park, Taylor Yards. So we're taking them down here and they're doing chemical analysis on this water. It becomes very clear, wait, why is there so much copper here? Why is there so much mercury? These are metals, why are they in the water? I don't have to tell them that pollution is a problem. They get that immediately. When they start to look, and in one area where the water, my chemical tests come back as nice and clean, you see fish, you see frogs, and you see birds, you get, oh, okay, this is a healthy environment. The next place I go, and I do the chemical analysis, oh, wait, where did the fish go? Where did the frogs go? Why are there no birds here? They understand it instantly. We take them to the beach and use binoculars and plankton toes and things like that. At our aquarium, we have the animals right out in the tank so that they can see these are our underwater neighbors, have these firsthand experiences with these organisms. Because we know learning by doing is more effective. First of all, it creates that free choice piece. It creates that active engagement. It creates an opportunity for students to really process things on their own. So as Jonathan was talking about at the very beginning, you don't lose them because they don't know how to engage in the process. They know how to pick up a binocular and look through it. Every student can do that. We can show them that and make the world relevant for them. That said, I know that we can't do this alone. This is not something Heal the Bay is not the only organization doing this, and we aren't the only organization trying to make massive changes in education. We are trying to make sure that we work together with our partners. We've worked at the state level to help pass the Education and the Environment Initiative. There's a law in the state of California, a groundbreaking law passed in 2003 that says every child, K through 12, should be getting environmental education as a part complementary to the other standards-based education that they're receiving. And we understand that that's kind of challenging for teachers, it's kind of scary, and it's kind of new. So we've worked with National Geographic, Google Earth, Annenberg Learner, and all these other national players to help create resources for teachers so that they feel more comfortable teaching these difficult concepts, which really aren't that difficult when you think about them. We're talking about how water comes into our body, what our body uses it for, where it goes when it leaves, what happens to it in the world. These are kind of basic things that most people don't really get. I get my water from turning on the faucet, right? Well, how did it get to that point? And what can we do to make sure it continues to get to that point safely? We've also worked here locally with Santa Monica, Malibu, and other districts and other schools to try to create new and novel processes for learning environmental education. Hands-on ways, using new technology so that the teachers are as engaged in the process as the students are as well. We know that each and every one of us working together is one little drop trying to create a tidal wave of change. Now, I would hope that you guys are all here today because you want to be a part of this tidal wave of change for a better city 2.0, a better society 2.0. So I would challenge you to take some simple actions to get involved in this process, to help engage our youth. First, it's an election year. You can vote, or I hope you can. everybody that can vote should go out and vote. Vote for candidates that believe in science. Vote for candidates that believe in education. Vote for initiatives that help support education. When we put more money into our education system, it pays off at every level of society. Crime rates go down, job rates go up. There's so many benefits to it. Yes, it's money, and yes, it's a little scary to put that money towards it, but the payoff is huge. And if we want to create a sustainable city 2.0, a sustainable society 2.0, we need to invest in those students who are going to help to lead that society later on. If you're a parent, take your kids out into the world. Don't be afraid to get them wet or mucky. Sometimes those are the best experiences. If you're a teacher and you don't know how to incorporate environmental education or science education effectively into the world, or you're scared to because of those pieces of testing that are involved, and that takes time away from teaching to the test, come talk to us. Not just me, but tree people, National Geographic, state parks, all of us understand the challenges that teachers are facing, and we have tried to create programs that are plug and play for you, that are teaching all the things you're mandated to do at the same time using best practices and really novel concepts. So I really hope that everybody can come together and really invest in our youth, invest in the power of the future citizenry so that the world that we really want to have is the world that we can have in the future. Thank you.